Hi, I'm Alexandria Ingham from claireandjamie.com. How are you?
Hi, nice to see you. Good.
You
Very well. Thank
too.
you for having us.
So I love It's Not Like That because there's so much heart to it. But let's start with just telling us who you play.
Yeah, I play Lori Soto. She is mom of two, recently divorced from this fine gentleman, who also, she's a publicist. She is trying to find her way in the world post losing her best friend, and navigating divorced life and kids and all of that.
I played David Soto, the ex-husband with terrible timing. Um, I am a music manager, devoted father of two, complicated recovering alcoholic. I mean, there's a lot going on to this guy. So yeah.
Definitely a lot going on.
Mm.
I mean, I do want to touch, there's the topic of grief in death, but one thing TV shows don't really touch on it is the grief in divorce.
Yeah.
So, can you talk about, anything like that that goes on in the series? Because there are heavy moments, but there's also lighthearted moments in it.
Yeah, I think they did our creators, Kristen and Ian, they just did such a beautiful job of of just that. Like there's a loss of the family unit. There's a loss of how your identity and how, like, for Lori, like how she has considered herself for these last 17 years as part of this unit and the mother and so changing all of that, and there's a sadness to that, and dealing with children's big emotions. Like, my parents got divorced when I was 14, and there's very big emotions in that. And so, but they tackle it from it's like they're just turning it constantly and looking at it from a new angle and getting the full, like, lay of the land and depth of emotions. And I really appreciate that about the scripts and about our show in general.
Yeah, I think they did it with such grace, and compassion and truth. You see David's kind of journey. He falls down a lot. He's very messy. He's kind of on this whole kind of soul searching exploration of, not being happy, moving on, which happens a lot, in life. And at the root of it, you never lose the sense that this is a good human trying to do his best with what he knows, and trying to be a good dad, and having to see his son kind of reflect some of the worst traits he has right in front of him, from alcoholism to whatever it may be. That's heartbreaking. How do you navigate that? I mean, they just did such a beautiful job at just tackling so many real raw situations that are so relatable. So I think each character just is really, like, really well thought out, and they're very complex, and everyone has such a beautiful art throughout the season, which is another reason I really love the show. I think everyone has their own, um,
Yeah, fully developed storylines. That was something that really drew me to the script in the first place, was reading it first. First I read it, I'm like, what's my part? And then the more you get into it, it was just and what I loved about it was that every character was so fully developed. They had their own voice, they had their own things they're struggling with, and they all get addressed throughout the season. Um, with change and love and loss and grief and anger and all of these things. Everybody has their moment.
Yeah, and I think so many shows will focus just on like the leads and then the supporting
Yeah,
characters
or
just
just the kids
big.
or just the parents,
Yeah. But this one, it focuses on second chances for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, even, like David gets his second chances. The kids are there and like getting their second chances. So what's that like to be able to tell that story that everyone deserves a second chance?
Yeah, I think that it does speak to the fact that this is a true family show. This isn't just about the adults. This isn't just about the kids. Where you, like, those kid shows where you never see the adults and you're like, they have parents, right? They have parents. They had to get to school somehow. Um, that everybody it's never too late, to be the version of yourself you want to be. to meet yourself with a little kindness and a little compassion, to meet others with a little kindness and compassion because you might not know what they're going through. Um, and that's what yeah, I think our show does so beautifully is it shows us that maybe what we initially think about somebody or about ourselves might not be the truth. And let's look a little deeper and a little kinder.
Yeah. It's not like that.
Hey, it might not be like that.
Yeah, you know?
So you say with the kids that, like the parents are just never there. I always remember there's a soap drama in the UK where one kid went upstairs and then for like 14 years he didn't come back down again.
Sure,
Uh,
sure, sure,
I
sure.
have
Yeah.
questions.
And nobody's like, your socks are down. I left. What are you do? Like screaming
Right.
upstairs. Sure.
Yeah. Mhm.
What is the message that you want to get across from this show to the audience watching?
Yeah, I think kind of like what we were just talking about for me at least is that sense of compassion and like Scott said earlier, grace for other humans through and through. So many times, and I'm guilty of it. You judge somebody or you judge someone's life without really fully grasping what that person's going through because you have no idea, you know. So I hope people can watch this and really just kind of maybe take a step back before they're quick to judge or quick to say something and maybe have a little bit more grace and compassion in their heart to like you know judge quickly without understanding you don't really know what that person's going through.
So
Agree
Lori,
with
I
you.
do.
Yeah.
Erin, I have to because Lori.
Fine. It just means that you've watched the show. I love it.
There's a moment where she's going through all the dating apps, all like the photos, and then she just pick one.
Hmm.
What was that like? Because I feel like that is so relatable to so many of us.
Oh, for sure, right? So Ian, one of the show creators, said that that moment kind of inspired the whole series. It was a friend of theirs that had gone through divorce and he like a really good friend and they were going through the dating apps and she was like, "Oh my God, can you just?" And so then they had a ton of fun doing it. And he was like, "Oh, well, this is so interesting to me about what this experience might be." I mean, I've been married for 21 years, so I never did a dating app. I never did that. But like I sure did have talked to a lot of friends who are here in Los Angeles dealing with how terrible it is. And it kind of speaks to later in the series when she has like one good date and then she gets so zeroed in. I was like, you guys, why does she not move on from this? And then it was like, oh, right, because it's terrible on there. And to have one little bright spot is like, but like, can't we do this? Because that if we don't, it means I have to go back on and to doing all of this and the conversations. And I know that it's a lot, but I loved shooting that scene in particular because I do think it shows how close Malcolm and Lori are and how much fun they have with each other. That there's like this little peak of at that moment he's not a pastor, she's not they're just friends who are sitting on a couch, enjoying each other.
It's also where you start to see the sparks. You start to see
Yeah.
that it could be something.
Yeah, right. Like they
And
get like very physically close, and it's like, oh, okay, that's comfortable, that's nice.
but what I love is they're not looking for romance. They're not
Yeah.
looking to find love with each other. It naturally progresses. And,
Yeah.
even David has moments, he's not looking for anything, but things around him are happening. So what's it like to actually have, that natural progression, that whole thing of keep your eyes open?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a lot that's going to be thrown his way throughout the season. So his eyes better be open. There's I think for David the big thing is really like trying to. I love the struggle that he has, this disconnection he has with Merritt throughout the season. They give him so many obstacles to have to kind of get over when it comes to him and his relationship with his son. That has been it's his own fault, and that's what's so beautiful about all this. He kind of created, he dug himself this grave, and now he's got to get out of it. Because it's really his own decisions and the consequences of his own actions through and through the entire season. And the storyline with him and his son is it's really complicated and difficult. And Caleb, who plays Merritt, does such a beautiful job at just giving this kid just massive sense of vulnerability, and in such a beautiful way. I love his performance through the entire
Yeah,
season.
Caleb was so worried. He was like, people aren't gonna like my character.
And
Like
so many
he's
times,
so angry. And I'm like, yeah, we all know what that's like. Like we were all angry kids for some reason or the other. And that is moving and it's very like you just want to like it's it's the boys that you wanted to fix. And it's the like it's that like kid that you want to be like, it's not your fault and it's okay to be mad and it's okay. Like he plays it so I'm like, you're so wrong, kid. Like they're gonna love you. I love you. Like it's
so committed.
so heartfelt. And I love that, like to answer, like to touch a little bit more on your question, is that the way they wrote it, it doesn't like these things are they didn't go away. They don't go like nothing things don't get fully fixed. They took their time with the scripts and with the progression of the story and people's arcs um that it wasn't just like we have one conversation and like, oh, okay, everything's better. All my emotions are healed. Um, it's more like life and that it's messy and things take a while and you might say like, I know I'm good. And then you're pushing it down and you're gonna have to deal with that at some point.
Comes out in other ways. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
That is all the time I've got for you, but thank you so much. I'm looking forward to people seeing it because it is so heartfelt.
Me too, right? We want to make more, so please make
Yeah,
sure to shout it out. To go January 25th to Amazon Prime. You can watch one episode, but there's two on January 25th on The Wonder Project. 8.99. It's not that much money.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.